I am recording. So try to control yourself with your swears, Autumn. All right, this is 2.3, day 2. Today we're talking about distributions and weighted means. Distributions and weighted means. Does anybody know what a weighted mean is? I should not ask you questions while we're all writing.
Working for a weighted mean means like regular means that have more weight to them. I should say, one side leaning to the other type thing.
Kind of. Like, let's think about it like your grade in a class. Do you guys understand that like the tests are worth more than the homework?
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Weight,
right, and sometimes teachers make that happen by assigning more points to a test than the homework, so it kind of works out naturally by itself. And sometimes teachers say 80% of your grade is the tests. Does that make sense to you? That's what I say, right? In my classes, like a certain amount is worth a certain amount, like percentage-wise. Do you guys want to start with weighted means, or do you want to start with drawing pictures?
Weighted means.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about, let's say that we were in a class, and that this is a pretty accurate example of what college would be like. I'm going to have a chart here that is going to be 5 down and 4 across. Okay, so let's say that this is a science course in college, okay? And here's what your grade is worth. I'm going to put, this is the source here, this is the weight, otherwise known as W from here on out. And we'll put a score here, or X. So let's say that there are a few sources. One is like your average on all your tests, your test mean. Another one is what you get on your midterm. Another one is what you get on your final exam. Then there's the grade you get on your labs. And the grade you get on your homework. And these are weighted different ways. What do you think is worth the most usually in college?
Your final.
Actually, no, because your final exam is usually just one test. So it's probably all the tests that are happening in the class. This isn't always the case. Every teacher is different. But in this example, we're going to have this be worth half of your grade. All the tests that you had in the class averaged. Okay. Do you understand this is the same thing as 50%? Everybody okay with that? Okay. And then I'm going to say that your final exam is the next heaviest. That's 20% of your grade by itself. Your midterm is 15%. your labs are 10%, and your homework is a measly 5%. Make sure you write it down. All caught up? All right, now let's say that your average score on your test is an 86. You're getting like a high B on your test. Your midterm, you killed that, you got a 96. Your final exam was a little bit harder for you, that's an 82%, a B minus. Still not bad. Computer labs, you were doing great at 98%, and you did all of your homework, 100%. What's a realistic grade for this person? Before we calculate it, what's a realistic grade?
A B.
A B, maybe a high B or a low A? Something like that, an AB, which is actually a thing. Did you know that? An AB is a thing?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of colleges. Yeah, so the university I went to, which was UW-Madison, instead of getting like a B plus or an A minus, you could get an A, an AB, a B, a BC, or a C. Lowest grade I got in college was a BC, and that was a linear algebra course that I did not try enough at because I had a big old crush on a guy in the course and did not pay attention very well. And my teacher was crazy. She was a TA and she was German. And she would do this thing where she would because she was a grad student, so she was learning all this intense mathematics, and she was brilliant, but an awful teacher. And we'd have 50 kids in our room, right? And she'd go down the line, she'd be like, what is the answer for number 2? And this kid doesn't know. She'd go, okay, you. And they don't know. And you, and you don't know, and then you don't know, and you don't know. She'd go through 30 of us, and then one kid would get it right, and she'd go, exactly. And then she'd move on. And I'd be like, most of us don't know. And she'd be like, we get it, we're moving on. And I'd be like, okay. But also, I didn't try very hard, so my bad. All right, XW. So anybody have an idea of how we can weigh these things? How can we combine them in some way? Just take a guess. Yes. Multiply them out. X times W is our last column. Go get a calculator.
That's what I forgot.
My calculator?
No, my calculator.
All right, I'm going to have each one of you do one of these things. You're going to multiply this times this. Carlos, you got the first one. Noah, you got the second. Jessica and Michaela and Autumn and Nathan, you get a pass for now, but you will be called upon in the future.
Okay.
So you're just multiplying the X times the W in each one of your rows. Carlos, what'd you get?
43.
Cool. Noah?
14.5 or 4.
Jessica?
Do we do the point one or point one?
0.1 times 98.
Okay, I got 9.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying 5% of 100 is 5? No way. All right. So now here's what I want you to visualize. Visualize that if you had gotten 100% on this test, you would have gotten 50 points towards your overall score. You would have gotten a perfect 50, but instead you got a 43. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add all these up. Imagine that you got 43 points from doing your test, 14.4 points here, 16.4 points there.